Hi again, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. I've done a themed journal today. I've never done one like this before because this is a theme of cottages and cabins. So what I've done is I've pulled this plate from a 1904 English countryside book. And down here, the inscription says, "A cottage lone and still." I love that. I've got some vintage beads again down the side here. And I pulled these out of my little collection of 1920s words that would have been used by students to learn reading. And I put some vintage bits across the top here and down the side. I got some fabric on the spine because I needed to do a little bit of repair there. And let me show you the inside just before I put it in my Etsy shop. Now on the front inside here, I've got this 1920s Mother Goose book page with a little poem here, "In a Cottage in Fife." And then look at this beautiful early 1900s image of a cottage, an English cottage. It's gorgeous. And then I've got here this wonderful 1920s image of a cabin. And this is a postcard from 1930. And 1930? Yep. And it is this beautiful little countryside cottage, and that is actually a German postcard, but look at that stunning image with the gold framing around it. It's really lovely, and I think you'll enjoy that as part of the little cottage collection. But look at this one here. This is from the 40s, I believe. Yep, 1949. And this is how you would have gotten a little collection from maybe a roll of film that you took in for developing. And I like this beautiful boat here. Let's pretend that's at a cottage. And look at this little darling here with her swimsuit on at a cottage here. You can tell that's a little cottage. And then this is my favorite one here. Who doesn't love to go canoeing at a cottage or a cabin? The little dog in there with the gentleman. I love it. So that's pretty special, right? And we always have flowers at our cottages. This is an air flight log, and I know that doesn't have anything to do with cottages, but I put in a real mixture of different kinds of ephemera along with cottage and cabin ephemera. And this here is from 1959 from a sticker book, and I chose it because when I go to the cottage up north, it's just bug city. So these are some beautiful bugs and butterflies and insects that you might find at your cottage. And that's a little piece of pottery from the sea that I found. And this is some vintage upholstery fabric with a hidden journaling spot on antique paper underneath. And this here, Bonnie Charlie, that looks like the countryside again, Scottish cottage. And this is an actual postcard from the 30s, I think. And then, of course, we've always got birds at the cottage and the cabin, right? So this is a vintage Birds of America page. It's beautiful. There we go. A lovely little poem here. And then this is just a wonderful 1956 My Book House series book page. And over here, I have another fantastic I have a couple of these different, each one is slightly different, but look at the frame around this 1920s photograph. It's absolutely Art Deco to the brim, and a farmer there with his goats. And this here is vintage. It is from the 70s, and that is a little, looks like a cottage countryside there. And it's got the original envelope there as well. Probably the glue still works, even though it's over 50 years old. But I think it's so pretty. And then this here is just a nice little booklet I made with birds and pine cones, balsams, all the different things you would find up north. That's what we say about cottage country. Here where I live is up north. And this is another wonderful little thatched roof cottage in Stratford. And it says all about country cottages, and I've added antique paper to the back there. And then this, let's test you. Do you know whose cottage that is? Don't look, don't peek. That is Lincoln's cabin. Isn't that great? There it is there. And I pulled that from a souvenir book on Lincoln from 1955. And this is a gorgeous 1905 How to Grow Roses book. Look at these stunning images here. And some more country farm animals there from a children's book. And why did I pick the H with hammer? Because you need a hammer to build your cottages. I know that's a reach, but I really wanted to put that card in here. Ducks at Cottages, and look at this. This is precious. This is from an old summer 1947 Mac Rogers, an old photo album, and there he is at the end of the dock looking out at the lake at the cottage. You can see the cottages in the background. It's just fantastic for this journal. Love it. More children's book pages. Here is an antique 100-year-old card with the transparent color supporters on them. I know that's not cottage related, but I want lots of different kinds of things in here as well. And this is a really fun advertisement from the 40s. And then this is just a cute little journaling card here from 1927. Great pocket there. And this handwritten thesis page. And then of course, all the different kinds of trees, winter and fall there at the cottage, maples. We have a gobs and gobs of those, as does many states. And another beautiful little Birds of America vintage book page here. We've got the finches and the siskins. And there's a 100-year-old Alice in Wonderland page. There's not many left. This might be one of the last ones. That's when she drinks the magic potion there. And then this is a 1937 5-year diary page. And this is really cool. So how do you fit needlework into a cottage and cabin journal like this? It is a cottage tea cozy. How great is that? Another one on the other side. There is the real thing. That was actually what inspired me to do a cottage journal, believe it or not. I just love that. And this here is a bookmark made out of a book cover from an antique book. And I chose it because it's got flowers and boats, which are also things we have at cabins. Although you probably don't have a full clipper. You get it. Train right up to the cabin. And then this little booklet here, and I've put a picture of another, this is actually a Welsh, I believe, Irish. That's an Irish cabin there. And antique paper on the back of that. Little log cabin down here from a vintage book. This is also from a vintage children's book here. This is just adorable. And another one of these 1940s How to Care for Babies with this crib that would never pass the safety check nowadays. A fun cluster here. And this is another cabin illustration here from a 1930s children's book. And I put more antique paper on the back of that one. So, oh, it's just so fun. Another children's story here from the 30s. And this I pulled from a Beatrix Potter early 1900s book. There's the plate there. And it looks to me like she's walking into a cabin. Isn't that sweet? I'll just put that in there. And that's all on top of an early 1900s school book page. And then just this wonderful Little Bo Peep, Jack and Jill, Mulberry Bush, London Bridge, classic songs, children's songs from over 120 years ago. And there's another early 1900s page here. And look at this wonderful little Welsh cottage. Look at that, Welsh cottages near town. And this here, another 1920 piece, another children's book page. This is just a really sweet, I added antique paper on the back here so you could journal and still see the advertisements underneath and just all kinds of fun embroidery things there. There we go. It's just hilarious. More children's book pages here. And then we've got an antique map here, which is pretty cool. I've had a few of these and I really like them. Is that great? Fargo, Moorhead, beautiful. Another cottage down here. That is the little cottage with a wonderful air of genius. Genius? And an 1890s arithmetic page, because you need to do a lot of math to afford a cottage. And then over here is just another wonderful little whimsical children's book page from the 20s, and a hand-typed research paper, 1887, typed in the early 1900s. And this is just a little tiny booklet of botanical pages from a vintage botanical book. And there's a great vintage playing card, the little kittens that I love so much. Just another piece here that is not cottage related, but it's fantastic. And all kinds of embroidery here, and how to crochet a hat. Crocheting is so big now. That's kind of timely, isn't it? And that is from the 40s. This is from 1887 here. And then this piece is just a fun little vintage piece. You can journal on all the white space around there, just different architectures from the 1800s, 1950s, early 1900s, vintage, almost antique stamps there, and one of these really fun orange index cards for a little box, recipe box, or a business box. Children's book page, and we're topping it off with another cottage at the back, the toy cottage. So I hope you love this as much as I loved making it. You can find this and other journals in my Etsy shop, hyperstamper.etsy.com. Comment below, subscribe, and come back soon. Bye for now.